Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time coming across this page, this face, you're welcome. My name is Nono Obuna. I am a final year medical student. I am also a content creator and YouTuber based in Abia State, Nigeria. So feel free to make this your home and subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in medical school vlogs, lifestyle vlogs, and all that good stuff, then this is the channel you definitely want to subscribe to. Without wasting your time, today I'm going to be talking about 5 things I wish someone had told me before I got into medical school. And these things are things that typically people would not discuss, because everything you hear before going into medical school is just read. I feel like there is more to medical school than we actually discuss, or there's more to medical school that your parents or senior colleagues or even the internet tells you, and I'm here to tell you those things. So you definitely want to watch this video to the end, because it's going to save you a lot of stress, and it's definitely going to make your medical school journey a whole lot smoother than mine was. The first point on the list of things I wish I had known sooner is do not isolate yourself. I cannot overemphasize that. Medical school, the practice of medicine, is not something that you do as an island. It's not a one-man squad thing. It's something that you have to do with people by your side. You cannot do medical school or even practice medicine alone. You need good people in your corner. So I wish that I did not isolate myself. And the reason this happened in my earlier years in medical school, especially in my preclinical days, so that's like 100 level to 300 level if you're studying in Nigeria. Naturally, I am an introverted person. Coming from like secondary school, primary school, secondary school, I was that child that would always, perform very well. And then I thought, oh, it's a one-man squad. I can just read, pass my exams, and that is it. While that might be possible, but it made me struggle a lot more, because now I'm comparing how I am performing or how easier things are for me in clinical school, and I'm comparing it to preclinical school, and I just realized that I wish I did not isolate myself. I wish I had, interacted more with my classmates, associated more with my classmates, because the thing about associating with your classmates is that it makes your reading easier. There's a reason why discussion groups exist in medical school, the right discussion groups, because it will help you study smarter. Medical school, to be honest, is not about working so hard. I can tell you for a fact, it's not about working so hard. Working hard is important, but you also need to work smart. If not, you're going to be working hard, you waste your time, you waste your efforts, you don't end up passing exams, because you actually need to pass your exams to become a doctor. If you're working so hard and you don't pass your exams, you're not going to end up being a doctor. That's just the honest truth. So when you interact with your classmates, you're able to, get better study techniques, you're able to get better mnemonics, you're able to get access to past questions, even access to materials that would actually help you perform better in the exam hall. Now, I'm saying, like with study groups, it's not a must that you people must be found reading together, because for someone like me, I do not really do well, like, reading side by side with somebody. I actually enjoy like my space alone, reading alone. It will help me, to assimilate better and read at my own pace. But then when you have like study groups that at the end of the day, okay, everybody reads on their own, or if you want to read together, that's fine. You people come together and then discuss those topics, and then you'll be able to say, okay, this is how this person understood it from his or her point of view, and then you also be able to explain your own point of view. And then if there are mistakes, the correction will be done, and at the end of the day, everybody is happy and everybody performs better academically. Another important thing of having study groups is that there is that healthy competition, that healthy motivation, that healthy peer pressure. Yes, you actually need a little bit of peer pressure, because you might be in your corner lazing around, but then when you see, oh, this person has read this topic, this person has gone far, this person has, touched this topic, you're even motivated more to do better. And then if you have good people in your corner, they will also push you, no, you have to do this, you have to read this, there's no time, study this, study that. There is need for healthy competition in medical school. Another mistake I feel like people make in medical school, I don't know if it's particular to my school or if it happens in other schools, please, if it happens in your school, let me know in the comment section, is the thing of cliques, or will I say cartel. Oh, these are the only people that I talk to, these are the only people that I talk to. Guys, I'm here to tell you that there is more to medical school, there is more to life. And my best advice to you is that because life can actually be very funny, you don't know how things are going to end up after school. You don't know people you're going to meet. You don't know where you're going to work. You don't know who you might need his or her recommendation. So don't just limit yourself to a particular set of people in class. While you might associate more with certain people, that's fine. But try as much as possible to be cordial with your classmates. Try as much as possible to interact with everybody. Nobody is higher than the other. Don't say, oh, these people are more intelligent than they are. I can't relate to these people. I can't relate to the other people. I'm going to tell you for a fact that some people who were very intelligent in preclinical school might not be the ones that will be performing so well in clinical school. There are some people that perform so well in clinical school and their preclinical days were so bad. There are some people that might not even be performing very well at all in medical school. And then later on in life, when we start practicing, they become very good doctors. You don't know whose recommendation you might need. So I'm not just saying that you should interact with the people because of the benefit you're expecting from them, but it's actually very good to build like your network and the people that you interact with. You might pick up one or two lessons along the way. So the second point on the list of things I wish I had known sooner before entering medical school is not everybody has to be your close friend. Chill. I know I said associate with your classmates, interact with people, have study groups. Yes, but not everybody in your class, not every study partner should actually become your close friend. Friendship in medical school is a different ball game altogether, and this also applies even after school. In your workplace, it's good to be cordial like with your work colleagues, but your work colleagues or your classmates must not necessarily become your close friends. Am I saying that people do not develop friendships in school? Am I saying that people do not develop friendships at work? No, but I'm saying that these are things that you should not rush into. It's fine if someone is your reading partner, it's fine if someone is your classmate. It's fine if the discussion just ends at academics, helping each other study better, prepare for exams and all of that. They must not necessarily become your close friends, because from my experience and the experiences of others, and most times when friendships like this are rushed, it can affect and spoil the good academic relationship that you guys already have. Because I can tell you for free, friendship breakups in medical school is something you do not want to experience. It can take a toll on you emotionally, it can take a toll on your academics, and medical school is already stressful enough. You do not want to add extra unnecessary stress to you. So before you let that academic relationship or friendship progress into like personal friendship or close friendships, take your time. Number one, pray about it. Number two, ask yourself, are these people outside academics? Are they people that our values align? Are they people I can actually be friends with? Sometimes some things are best left at work friendships, school friendships, and not necessarily close friendship. Third point on the list of things I wish I had known sooner is read, read, read. I mean, would this be a medical school video or medical video if I tell you not to read? You have to read consistently. This cannot be overemphasized. In medical school, those people that you see that they always have the answers to questions, they always have an idea about this, they always have an idea about that, is because they read more than you do, which is the hardest truth. And I had to tell myself this truth. Coming into clinical school, I had to tell myself, no, you actually need to read more, because I feel like what made me a bit lazy, I'm going to be honest with you guys, we're keeping it real here. This is a no judgment zone. So I feel like one thing that affected me in preclinical school, coming from secondary school, I'm someone who is very intelligent, and in secondary school, I didn't really have to do much, perform very well, and I went to a very good secondary school. My secondary school was competitive, but I didn't really struggle. Things like academics came very easy to me. And coming into university, coming into medical school, I thought that it was business as usual. But guys, you have to read times two of how you read. If you were that person that you pass your exams, you don't have to struggle too much, you don't have to cram so much. Like once you actually need to do more. In medical school, you have to read and read consistently. And when I mean read consistently, you don't necessarily need to read 10 hours a day, because I cannot even read for 10 hours a day. It might just be 2 hours, 1 hour. Just pick up a PDF. If you hear something, maybe you come across a medical word or a medical case, you can quickly browse. Now we have the likes of ChatGPT that makes studying even better. You can quickly browse, look that up, read this, or what's this medical word, and it sticks. To be honest, I found out that most things that you actually read in passing, like you read passively, those things tend to stick faster. So at every slightest opportunity, expose yourself to more information, because medical school practice of medicine is actually based on knowledge, the information that you have. I'm not telling you this thing as somebody that is a bookworm. But I'm just telling you the truth. You actually have to read to excel in medical school. You actually have to study to pass your exams. Okay, so read. Something important I would like to say is attend your classes. I cannot overemphasize that. Attend your classes, pay attention in class, because most times, like during exams, because medical school is not hard, to be honest. Even like what we read is not hard. It's just that there's just a lot of information to put into this head at once. There's just a lot of things to read. The workload is a lot. So most times during exam, you might not have, like exam period, you might not have so much time on your hands to study or go through some materials. But what you learned in class, what you heard in class, will actually help you perform better. So in addition to lectures, you have your clinical postings, especially in clinical school, because with exams, if you're in clinical school, your questions are more clinically related. So attend your clinical postings, pay attention, participate. When you go there, you clear patients, listen to your consultants, because in those periods of clerking or listening to your consultant teach, or attend to patients, you're able to pick up exam questions. You're able to even pick up things that you might not end up being taught in class, and the next time that you will meet such cases or such scenarios might be when you start practicing as a doctor. The fourth thing on the list of things I wish I had known sooner before entering medical school. So now, this one is for people like me, the girlies, the boys that have other passions aside from medicine. It's fine if the only thing you want to do or be in this life is being a doctor, attending to patients. That's very wonderful. It's also fine if you have other interests outside medicine. I'm here to give you like an advice that I think you will need. I wish someone gave me this advice. To be honest, when God created you, he didn't say, oh, let's say if you're studying law, you're only going to be a lawyer. That's the only thing you're going to do with your entire life. He didn't say, oh, you're going to be an engineer. That's the only thing you're going to do with your entire life. Or you're going to be a doctor. That's the only thing. You don't have the right to do another thing. You shouldn't think about other things. You shouldn't focus on other things. No. But the important thing is wisdom is profitable to direct. You have to know how to balance these things. You have to know, okay, what do I want out of my life? What do I want to do? How do I go about these things? How do I, balance this medicine and other passions or interests that I have? So what I would want to say is that start on time. And you're thinking, oh, I'm in 100 level, I'm in 200 level. Do I start now? I would advise you start on time. I know this is an unconventional advice, but the thing is, for someone like me, I said, I'm a medical student. I am also a content creator. I love creating content, and I wish I had started sooner, because I was saying, oh, I'm in 200 level. And why my reasons were valid that time, but I wish someone had advised me better. I was saying, oh, I'm busy. I don't want to fail. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. The truth is that you're always going to be busy. If you chose medicine as a career, you're always going to be busy. And the funny thing is that it never gets easier. The only thing is that you adapt more, or you get used to the stress of being a medical student or being a medical doctor. It never gets easier. The higher you go in this career, the more the expectations, the more the responsibilities, the lesser time you're going to have. So if you start early, you're already used to, balancing medicine and the other things that you do on the side. The earlier you build capacity to handle different things at the same time. The beautiful thing about having like other interests is that you build that capacity to, juggle different things at the same time. Because when you graduate medical school, the harsh reality most times of living in Nigeria is that to have more than one job. And if you're also thinking about starting a family, you're going to have a family, you would have children that you cater to. So you're actually going to be involved in a lot of things. So when you're used to balancing different things at the same time. You build capacity and you train your body to be able to handle different things at the same time. But I'm going to give you an important advice. Do not let your academics suffer. In as much as you have other interests or other things that you want to do not let your academics suffer. Even if you say, oh, maybe I'm just doing medicine because I might not want to practice, but you definitely want to finish and get that certificate, even if it's not for your sake, for the sake of your parents that sent you to school. You definitely want to get that certificate. Know when to let your academics, know when to let medicine take the front seat solely, know when you can juggle both things side by side. Is actually very important. Please don't say, oh, I love, content creation, and then you don't read your book, you don't pass your exams. No, did not advise you to do that. My hands are clean. The only thing I'm saying is that start on time. If you have other interests, actually start on time. If you're in 200 level, if you're at 300 level, start on time, because it never gets easier. You actually keep on being busy if you're in this career. That's just the honest truth. So the fifth point, which is the last but not the least on the list of things, list don't mind me, guys, on the list of things I wish I had known sooner before entering medical school, is believe in yourself. I cannot overemphasize this enough. You are in medicine for a reason. God is aware that you are in medical school. You are supposed to be there. You're not out of place. For the longest time, I had struggled with imposter syndrome. This is something I've not really talked about, and I'm being vulnerable here. I'm being honest here. Imposter syndrome was something I struggled with a lot, especially like in my preclinical days. 100 level, not really 100 level, but in 200 level and 300 level, I struggled with imposter syndrome. And coming from someone who had always wanted to study medicine and surgery, who had always thought herself to be intelligent, who had always wanted to become a medical doctor, at some point I was questioning, am I really supposed to be here? I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I struggled with imposter syndrome. And I really wish, sorry, my voice is sounding somehow, I'm just getting a bit emotional, but I really wish I had believed in myself more. Maybe I would have even performed better than I did. Now, don't get me wrong. By God's grace, I didn't fail any exams in my preclinical days. I did not have a receipt. I did not have a repeatable. I feel like I did not perform at my optimum best, because now I'm comparing how I am performing and the way I see myself in clinical school is actually a whole lot better and different from how I saw myself in preclinical days. I doubted myself, I questioned myself, and I think that's a lot of things that medical students struggle with that they do not really talk about, even to like their family members. Everybody's saying as, hey, person studying medicine, but they do not really know the silent battles that you're going through. And I'm here to tell you that I see you and I understand the struggles. I understand the questions. Trust me, all those questions that you have up in your head, I have thought about them. I have questioned myself, and I'm here to tell you, believe in yourself. Trust yourself more. And why am I saying that? He that is in you is greater than he that is in the world. So believe the God that is in you. Believe the God that has sent you to medical school. Your journey is different. Your experience is different. Your purpose is different. Your purpose in medicine is actually different. You're not going to be like everybody else. And I feel like, or now I know better than most of the things that I had experienced, because even the Bible says some of the things that you go through is so that you can be able to encourage others when they go through such situations. So most times when I've had the opportunity to, advise like maybe junior colleagues or counsel some people, I realize that I'm able to understand them. I'm able to proffer a solution. I'm able to give like an advice because I've experienced those things for myself. And I'm not just talking to you as somebody who is up there, who has always been up there, but I'm also talking to you as someone who had been in that level. So believe in yourself more. And when you believe in yourself more, when you're confident, it also influences how you understand your lectures, how you understand what you read. I'm someone that if I think that something is difficult or I don't think that I can handle like that situation, I become so overwhelmed and my brain will just shut down completely, and that affected like my reading, because I'm looking at all these things. So how do I understand this thing? How do I do this? I don't think I can do it. I'll just shut down completely. When you believe in yourself more, you're able to tell yourself, oh, I can actually do this thing. There's nothing here. It's not difficult. If I apply myself, I would actually like overcome. And that helped me a lot. I applied myself and things are definitely better than they used to be. Am I up there yet? I don't think so, but I'm definitely getting better day by day. And a little tip which I practice, because I'm obviously going to tell you things that I do or things I've experienced, is that with studying, if you're someone that feels so overwhelmed with, textbooks, PDFs, what I do is if I get a PDF and it feels like I'm not really understanding what they're saying here, I send it to ChatGPT. See, guys, ChatGPT is one of the best things that has happened to my reading journey. I'm going to tell you for a fact. I know can be a lot, but it actually has like its good sides. So what I do is I send that PDF to ChatGPT and I tell ChatGPT, break down this PDF, explain it like you're talking to a 5-year-old, explain it like you're talking to a layman, and ChatGPT will break down this and then I have an overview of what I am to expect or what I'm supposed to understand from the PDF, and it makes my reading experience a whole lot easier. Another important thing about believing in yourself and having confidence, it also helps you in exams, because most times I've realized that sometimes people fail exams not because they do not know the answer to that question, but because they're not confident enough. They're feeling like, oh, I don't trust my brain enough to give me the right answer. I don't think I'm going to, give the right answer to this question. Even in Viva, like the oral exams, confidence has a point. You might think that you're not making a point. You might think that you're not getting it right, but the way you carry yourself, the way you answer questions, it actually helps you perform better in Viva. God has placed you in medicine for a reason. If you have ever doubted yourself, if you have ever, questioned yourself, this video is a sign. There's a reason why God made you to come across this video today. I'm here to tell you, take it from me, from someone who has suffered imposter syndrome, for someone who had questioned herself. You are right where you are supposed to be. So I hope this video was helpful. Tell me what points resonated with you. Tell me what else I missed out that you wish that someone had told you sooner before you got into medical school. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.